Okay, so we've got the new Duster unit as named by the community, right? Duster.
As named by a loyal community.
Yeah. So it's not a complicated unit. It's this little guy right here. Um, and in fact, it's a unit called the Duster, but the important part is this little module right here on the very bottom that's called the sand dropper. So the way this works is I've got some sand that I've collected. I've also got some stone. So if I go and click the guy, he is set to drop sand, and if I turn him on and unpause the game, then that's what he does. Is he drops the sand that's
Hmm.
been collected.
So how do you change him to drop stone? Do you have to break
Yeah, right. So this is a trick, right? So this was a head scratcher, like because you need to be able to say what to drop, and you don't. I don't want to do a combo box and fish through all that. You really want to be able to click on stuff. So instead of putting it up here, you can just click in the collection of stuff that you have. So you click that. Now he's on stone. That's what I did right now. Now there might be other options for this, but it's sort of a hybrid user interface
Yeah,
type deal.
that's unusual interface.
Yeah, it is unusual, and you would never guess to do it unless a tutorial showed it to you. But so let's pick up some more stuff.
So okay, go ahead.
So here's a digger that everybody's familiar with. So as you dig, you collect the sand. So this is how things are right now. I'm not saying they're going to stay this way, but this is what I've done right now, right? So in the demo and previous versions of the game, this would annihilate it. Now it's collecting it. If it is a collectible type, not everything. So if I dig into the land, I'm not collecting it, right? Only certain sands are harvestable or it can be stored. Here's some Pixelium. Grab some of it. See, it appears in the list now. Here's some acid.
Oh, picking up acid now.
Yeah, so I've got acid and Pixelium. So if I come to this guy and say, let's drop some Pixelium, set it to Pixelium, turn
Okay,
him
so
on.
I still have to get used to the fact that sand in this game is actually any um well, I don't even know what else to call it, any pixel.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That became sort of the generic term for all pixels, all
So you
simulated
said it was
pixels.
called the duster, but it has a sand dropper on it. So
Right. The unit and the modules that the unit contains. So, for instance, I could have stuck a cannon on this guy too, or a mortar, or I could create a ship, name the ship whatever I want, and then stick whatever modules I want. So,
you know,
the,
a smaller name for that, the shorter word would be the hopper, just because it's what a
right.
and we're looking for short words always.
hmm One of the reasons and maybe I'll add this here in a second. It's
Also,
so long is
I
because
just
the
say
sand.
cargo
Go
because
ahead.
sand
What?
dropper doesn't really. I don't know. I don't like that sand dropper there. Cargo would be better in my mind.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, this is very programmer ish, right? Sand
Yes.
dropper. And that's what it's called in the JSON file that I have on disk. But I changed that name, then in the JSON, then the name changes here. It's the
Okay.
same thing. It's just got a different display name, so it's not a problem for that.
That's really nice.
So I told this guy I harvested some Pixilium, and I told this guy to drop it here. And now I'm going to, and I've
How
also
does
got
he
some.
know? So you select him and then you select that box on the other side.
Uh huh. Yeah. So I'm going to tell him to drop acid now. So this guy here, release acid, and turn him on, and he releases the acid on top of the Pixilium.
And it interacts. Okay.
It's interacting, right? So I need it's interacting and changing, but there's still some Pixilium in here. So I need some more of the acid. So I'm going to leave him on, dropping or releasing the acid, and I will come here and I will harvest some more. And as I do, it automatically is being dropped up here. Now, I released enough that it all reacted with the Pixelium, creating a new thing called, you can look down here in this box, this Creeper Eater liquid. Used to be called Pit liquid. Nobody knew what pit meant. So it's called Creeper Eater. And it's a liquid. And there was some left over.
You know, that maybe that's a thing you can have in the indication if whether it's a solid. So the liquid isn't part of the name. It's more a display of an attribute of the sand type.
Maybe so, right? Because it would, maybe there's a little icon that represents the simulator, what internally I call the simulator, for whether it's a material like a sand that flows but sticky, it's a fixed thing like rock or land doesn't move, or whether it's a liquid. That would save me a lot of name space, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Because there could be two types. For instance, there's breeder liquid and breeder land. They're both breeder. One of them moves and one of them flows and one of them doesn't. If it just said breeder and then the icon was different,
Yes.
that's a good idea. I'll do that because I hate this word liquid and land and stuck everywhere. It adds
Because
space.
you can also like deal with the gas and whatever else it comes, is around in the game.
Right, right.
Um,
So I
can you
can
pick
I
up
can
water?
harvest
Can you
this
go pick
stuff.
up some water as well?
We
Oh,
can, we can pick up water now.
did you pick up on the other side? Did you pick up
The
the
stuff I made, the
creepy eater stuff?
yeah. So if I just click right here and oh, this guy, as I pick up the acid, he's continuing to release it, and which is funny, and it's even damaging himself. That's an interesting thing I need to address. I didn't think about. I just did this guy last night. This is a development video for anybody watching, by the way. not, not. So you're seeing stuff that is going to have bugs,
So
probably.
you
And
indiscriminately picking up whatever's in there.
well, I just click on the acid right here, and he picks it up, and it gets added to the inventory, and he is set to
Yeah,
on, and
because
he's
you
set to
picked
release
up
it.
something for you picked up the ether liquid from there.
Yeah, the eater liquid is collectible. I've set it to be collectible,
Yeah,
so if,
but my point was it also picked up, you're also picking up acid at the same time because you're not doing a selection of
that's
what
right.
you can so
Yes,
pick up everything and you're essentially recycling the acid back into the pool.
right, right. It would
It's an
be
interesting way to filter it out.
similar to this. This guy is told to drop. Well, let's tell him to drop
So go back, leave him there and go pick up everything, pick up everything in that container. And then
all.
the stone will disappear, right?
Pick up all of this.
No,
This.
not in the right-hand one where there's sand and
Oh,
stone.
all of this.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's get a guy in range.
Now
So I can.
pick up everything. Is he not dropping stuff anymore?
This guy's not on. What would you like him to release?
Is it brown as sand?
Yes, this is
What else
sand.
was in there?
Right, so if I say release sand, it's going to release the sand. If I say this, it's going to collect the sand. If I tell it to keep, then you're going to get this. It's going to continuously harvest and continuously drop to get a
Yeah,
loop.
but I wanted you to pick out the stone that was in there.
Oh, just the stone?
Well, if you just pick up everything, it'll put back the sand and keep the stone, right? That's my point.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can tell him to just release stone and
Standing me.
harvest everything. I don't really need to tell it to keep, I don't guess. I could just. Now, even if I pick up the stone, it's going to release it right back.
Okay, yeah, okay, it's fine. It does exactly what I think. That's a pretty clever little trick to have.
Yeah, let me collect a little bit more. There's some stone over here. As I collect, stone is harder to dig. It takes
Yeah, I can
longer.
see it goes very, very slowly.
Yeah, but as he does, it gets released over here.
There was also a pool of something white on the left there. What was that?
That's ice.
Oh, can you pick up ice?
Yeah, I should be able to pick up ice. And
A box of containing things is scrolling.
let's come over here
You have a scroll bar.
and make a hole in the ground here. Yeah, there's a scroll bar, and this is always a struggle in games, right? You pick different. People run at different resolutions and different sizes. So at 1024, 768 or something, a very small laptop, then this stuff is packed in here, right? There's no extra space than this. At 1080, you've got extra space. I'll probably make this so that it expands up to a certain size based on the screen height, and only then would the scroll bar appear. Right now, it's a fixed size. It contains four.
I'm going to tell you something that in my mind, that the size of that table doesn't work with the size of the other icons on that side. I think you should move it to the left-hand side.
Can't. You know why I can't? That's where it started. But you click on this thing to currently in order to change. Let's say, this, you click right here. Look what appears on the left when, right? It would cover it up.
Okay.
It would cover it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. There's no room at the top, by the way. You're like, oh, you got all the space up here. No, you don't. Not when people run at lower resolutions. This is butted right up against these things. You start to make things smaller and smaller and
No,
smaller.
it's okay. We talked about getting rid of that power bar.
Right. It's and that may happen, right? This, you can start to imagine this merging with the collecting of Riftium and Curriculum. I've not done that quite yet because I just wanted to play with this
Okay,
mechanic.
that's fine. I see why you have that there now. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I picked up some
Ice,
let's
ice.
ice. Let's bring a guy over here and do this. That's over here. I think we have
Why is
water
he
and ice.
breaking up? Why is he moving as a whole?
He's not. He's broken up. He's just sort of semi,
Okay,
because he's kind of a squarish small unit.
all right.
So if I say to release the water, put some water in here, and now I should be able to release some ice. And the ice floats on water.
What happens when ice and water meets?
It will rise to the top. So if
That doesn't melt. One of them doesn't melt or something.
it does not. I keep them separate right now. So let me
Okay.
collect some more water here. If I now come here and select the water and release it, it goes through the
It
ice.
pushes the ice higher up. Yes,
Exactly. So it'll push the ice out.
almost making a snow cone.
Yeah. Now the other, and this is showing this use case right here. Oh well, not. Yeah, it is. There's water to release, but it's not releasing it. It can't release it because it's over something. There's no free space to create the water in. So if I move him up,
You
then
know,
he'll
I was going to
continue.
ask you about that if he can fill, if he can block.
Hmm.
And apparently you've thought about that. Yes, great. Good.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. What does, I don't know, what does eater do? Oh, yes. So it mixes with the water, and it continuously mixes. Fluids, or sand, I should say, have a density. And when things have different densities, it determines which one is on top of the other. When they have equal density, I let the simulation fight. And this is the effect you get. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. I don't even know if I like it.
I bet you that that's going to be the most commented part of this video is that simulation there.
This thing, yeah. Yeah, it's cellular automata fighting with itself, because that's sort of what it is. Yeah.
But didn't you have a better simulation for sort of a flow pattern thing.
Well, for the true fluids like creeper and anti-creeper, I do. For these sands, this is the
It's like
um,
field or something. I remember you had it once. There's like a setting or something. Okay, not. Oh, there's so many things in this game.
yeah,
Oh, look there. Now you're putting sand in the way. This is a
yeah,
good. I think the now the mechanism works very nicely.
yeah. When there's if
It's better
there
than the lorry. That's for sure.
Yeah, the lorry worked like this for dropping, similar to this, except it had a combo box for picking what to drop, and then you had to move it
Yes.
someplace nearby in order to pick something up. So it's removed
Keep
about
moving it around, and that was the problem.
right. So you would have to take this guy, move him here, go here, and tell him what to pick up, and then
Did,
get him in range.
do they check that they have a path to the apex ship or something to drop? Like if
No,
you block that route.
they don't. And I thought about that, and in fact, I also thought about. And we talked about this packet distribution, right? Making it work like Anti Creeper does, where the guy picking the sand up would send packets to the apex ship, and then the apex ship would have to send packets to the duster,
Mhm.
etc. That's a lot of packets.
Just gets too busy, I guess, and too much overhead.
Yeah, and it doesn't have a lot to do with gameplay at that point. It does, right? Because it introduces delays and introduces connectivity requirements, which makes me back to your question. So if all I really wanted was a connectivity requirement, I could have that without the delay, without the potential visual clutter of sending gazillions of packets all over the place. But I didn't do that either, right? Because this is it in its simplest form, which is usually what I start with. And the question becomes, so if that was occluded and this guy was turned on sand and I had harvested sand and he wasn't dropping sand, the question then becomes, how do you know why it's not working, and is this adding anything to
Yeah,
to,
yeah.
to, to gameplay? So
I,
that's why.
I just saw something. That little box, the container box on the right there where the sand types are in,
Hmm.
don't you want to delete them when they're empty?
Yeah, I started that way. I did. I started that way, but it was more convenient to leave them because it lets you do this. You're like, okay, I want to drop some sand over here on this water and ice to see what happens. So I want to change this to sand, but if it's not there, I can't click on it because I don't have any yet. So it requires you to collect it before you can select it. Now, that's true at the beginning of the mission, but sort of once you've got it, it's still in the list. That's why I keep it in the list. But literally, the code for removing it is in there and it's commented out right now because I ended up liking it better by leaving it. It's sort of a history of the things I have collected, and it makes it selectable. It's an artifact of using this for the user interface. I'm sure there's people that are going to comment on this, right? Because every time I mention a problem in a video, everybody seems to want to talk about it, which
There's
is cool. I'm glad.
solutions.
Yeah. So I'm on sand, and now if I harvest it, it drops it. And if I say keep, so that I will harvest all that without having to hold down the mouse button, this guy's dropping, and it's denser than water and ice, so it flows right through it and pushes everything up. I can do that because this guy is dropping the sand, and I'll also be harvesting. Let's make it a little lower. So he's eventually going to push this water out.
Yeah, it is. I can see it. Look at that.
The ice, I need to check. It's either getting destroyed or it is melting because it looks like there's less and less of it. Probably is.
Well, something has ice just doesn't just sit there. Maybe it decays or maybe it has a half-life.
It might. I don't remember. I don't use it for anything right now. I just did it just because it does interact with lava. I know that better than water. So if there was some lava you can't pick up. It's one of the ones you can't pick up right now. Um,
No, because it'll melt your cargo.
yeah, it seemed to make sense to be one of the things you can't pick up.
Oh,
Uh,
you should make it pick up bad stuff and then it destroys the ship.
oh, when I first did it, it was funny because you could pick up anything, including shield, because shield is a sand type.
Okay.
So you could paint shield and then harvest it, and then when dropping it would recreate it, but it doesn't fall. So it would only make it right where the duster was, right where the little sand dropper module was. It would make like a little section of it, and
You're
then
going
you'd
to
move.
get a ton of requests for that.
Well, then you could move the duster over, and it would drop more of it.
So now you're building a shield with a duster instead of with a
It
leg.
was the most tedious thing you could think of because you have to do that, and then you have to do that, and then you have to do that. Yeah, but another thing I had thought about was instead of just dropping it, adding a little thing that can fire it as particles.
That can be a different device, different thing. That's going to be the.
Yeah,
This is a duster. The other one can be the buster or the blaster or something.
yeah, it could be. It could be something different. It comes in handy when you've got a deal like this. I'm imagining it would come in handy when you've got a deal like this, right? So everybody is familiar. I love drawing these things, right? The
Now, why do you like doing that?
I don't know. These alien dead tree look like things, and if you drop a little bit of lava or even just something that's on fire, like an ember, let's drop just. I will start it and then pause it. A little bit of ember, then it catches the wood on fire or lights it on fire or sets it on fire. I don't know what the right verb for that is, by the way. I've seen everybody
Set
say
fire, but it catches fire.
set light, a light,
Yeah.
catch.
Set it on fire, and the object catches fire.
All right, so I
You're
need
actually
some.
putting the fire there, setting
We
an
need some. We need some water, and I need this guy. He's not going to get there in time, but he needs to be told to. Oh, there's already some water to release the water. But the whole thing's going to burn up before he gets there because it's too fast. But water puts out fire, but I didn't quite make it in time.
Oh, you're missing it.
Yeah. So something that could fire it would be more beneficial than something that could just drop it in this case. But yeah, that's the duster. That's in its current form.
I think
And
I like this. I think that the selection UI is a little bit, I don't know. I think it can be better, but I don't know how it can be better.
the first option people are probably going to say is, well, yeah, this is fine to be able to click in this list, but I'd also like to be able to just point at the map. Like I know that's Pixelium, so I want to, if there's still some left to click on, I'd like to be able to click on the thing on the map to choose the thing it drops. The problem with that, of course, is that I'm already overloading left clicking
No, no,
a
no.
lot.
I don't even think that what you just said makes sense. No,
So it would require a modifier key or something to
I
be
don't want
pressed.
that. No.
Putting it in the box is fine, but now it becomes
Then you have to have well, as you said, a drop down or something.
something that expands and opens, and then it's essentially repeating what you're already looking at over here.
Yeah, that's fine. Just leave it for now. We'll think of something smarter.
Yep. Okay.
Okay. Hey, thanks for showing it to me.
All right.
It's an
Yeah.
interesting couple of days' work that you did there.
Yeah. Oh, footnote on that. It took, I don't know, an hour to make the duster, and it took all day long, and I felt so bad because boy, I'm losing my touch to solve this problem. Let me show you this right fast. Given it was half the development time, or more than half, three guys.
That one won't travel.
Oh yeah. Let's see if we can get him out of there. Let's
He's still
there
blowing.
we go. There we go. Oh, I should have done that. Now, oh look, split it in two. Some were closer to come this way, and some continue that way. And let's, yeah, sure. Okay, they're all on, and let's have them release sand. So they're all set to sand
Pick
now.
up wood. When did you pick up wood?
Was there a little bit of water?
Wood. When did you
Wood.
pick that up?
I I think when I was digging over here,
Oh,
excavating,
okay, okay,
maybe
okay.
I might have.
All right, okay.
So they're all set to drop the sand. I don't have any, so I'm going to start harvesting some sand. Okay. So let me make the selection thing really small and set it to keep. And there's only one thing harvesting sand. And you will note that they are dropping it. Now, there's four of them trying to drop it, and there's only one thing collecting it. So any given duster could hog the supply. But you'll notice that they're dropping it kind of in a distributed way, right? It's not just one of them dropping it. It's they're all sort of dropping it. I just ran out of supply over here. Let's get some more. It's kind of evenly being dropped.
Okay.
That problem, solving that problem. Now you're like, oh well, there's six ways to do it. Yeah, there is. That involve queues and timestamps and priority queues and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I didn't want to do any of that because the constraint was these guys are already in a game loop. They're already in a set of things that are getting updated. I can't control the order. They can come into existence and be removed from existence between frames. The thing that's collecting it is also somewhere in that mix. And I didn't want to create a separate pass that required me to go over just these modules and sort them based on priority. So I won't go into the technical details. It just involves a couple variables and a neat way of thinking about it. But it took me all day long to figure that out.
So wait. So you're teasing me with, I found a neat solution, but I won't tell you what it is because it was difficult.
It's really hard to explain, but maybe I can explain it this way. So if you imagine one of these guys gets a piece of sand and he drops it, he now is satisfied, and he's not allowed to do that again until anybody else who wants to do the same thing has also done it. That's sort of the beginning of the solution. So you can imagine a Boolean, and when he releases sand, it's set to true. And now even if there's supply, he's not allowed to do it again until that Boolean gets set back to false. And the trick is when to set it to false. It only happens when all of them have been set to true. Now, it's you can easily do that with another pass or another sweep across those modules that checks them. If they're all true, then set them all to false. But I didn't want to do that. So the trick is how to do that as part of the normal update. And remember, these things, the update order can vary, and they could be destroyed in any given frame, or a new one could be created during a frame. So the exact do it at the top of the loop or the bottom of the loop, and which exact booleans to keep. And it's also per sand type. There's 254 sand types, or 255. So there has to be an array of booleans. But that's beside the point. That's where the solution fits. I asked AI to solve the problem for me. I asked all the AIs, Claude, ChatGPT, Gemini, all of them, and they all enumerated the typical solutions. And every single one of them ignored the very explicitly explained constraints that I gave it, which is I do not want to have a separate pass, and I cannot have a priority queue. I could, I just didn't want to do it that way because it's extra baggage, right? An extra a module would have to register itself with something that knows to scan over it. And a module could be a script written by a player, or it could be one of the built-in controllers that I've created. So I wanted to keep it very generic. None of the AIs got it. So win one for, even though it took me all day, win one for the human brain, I guess. All right. All right. Well, thanks for
Well,
watching.
thanks for showing everything.